Welcome, welcome, and welcome to Soul Conversations with Sandra, the podcast. I hope everyone is having a happy Friday. Um, I attune myself to the creative impulses that indwell in me and seek to express in, through, and as me today. As I bring into the conversation room Teddy Lawson. And Teddy, let's see. He guides souls on a journey of transformation and self discovery. So, this is a podcast, and we will be honoring him with not making any requests to join unless he sees someone that he would like to join in with us, and honoring the comments. Take what registers or resonates, not just registers, but resonates with you. Leave the rest in the room. If it's not your cup of tea, I hold no ill will. You can move right on through. You're welcome to do that. And I see Teddy has entered in. I'm going to give him a wave. Him in. Let me wave at everyone. I just want to say hello to everyone. Everyone, remember this is a podcast, so please don't. Hello, my wonderful one. Hello. So please, if we miss a comment, please forgive us. You know, I tend to vibrate with talkers just like I am. I grew up a talker, and I tend to vibrate people who love the spirit of getting the message out there, and we kind of vibrate that way. So anybody in the room, please, if you see we do not see your comment, please put it in your comment again. So by the time we get to see the comments, we'll see yours. We promise. All right. Welcome, Teddy.
What's up? How are you?
Good. I'm good. I slept in,
Oh,
which I guess my body,
right.
you know, how things try to flow through, and the ego tries to get you to hold on to something. It's not that our body isn't real and it's not going through
Boy,
certain,
yeah, well,
you know,
if the ego's coming in, that's a good sign that you're evolving spiritually, right? Because if you're not, then the ego's not piercing you, then you're not getting any blockages or stoppages. So it's kind of hard. It's more difficult to navigate out of a situation when the ego isn't piercing you. So if the ego is piercing you and you're catching it, that's what it's all about.
yeah, boom, bang, bada boom, like my say, it's kind of like it's what I've learned there. I'm going to ask you, since this is everyone, this is the second installment of Teddy Lawson. I hope there are going to be much more. I really do. But I've got a question that I'm going to ask you in the very beginning. I'm just going to dive in. The first time that we had our discussion, we dived in the deep end. We didn't stay on the top, the tip of the iceberg. We just dived right in. And hi, Peter. And I'm going to do that again, because you're about transformation, right? You're about, growth and expansion.
Yeah.
And you're also about relationships. And I think the divine just wants me to go through what I was going to say. And this question comes from a lot of posts that go through my feed that I listen to. Okay,
Yeah.
not necessarily yours. Okay, so in a transformational journey of men and women, all right, and I'll start with men and women as we see ourselves in the form, not necessarily the divine feminine and divine masculine that flows through both men. We both have those dimensions of, I call them dimensions, that we can tap into. But the question is, the last post that I heard was that men and women can never really be friends, right? Based on hypothesis from a scientific side. From the
Okay.
spiritual side, in what is transformational, do you think, or do you believe, or is it a hope? You see how many ways I'm going to, infinite ways to put this. Is there a hope that men can be more than just sexual partners or partners that procreate?
Of course, it's already happening. It's already happening. So the people, this is the one thing that I've come to see. Even the things that I share are things that I go through, things that I've overcome, things that I've been able to shift and pivot around. Mm-hmm. So people who are sharing men and women can't be friends, well, that's probably because they can't be a friend with a woman, because maybe they have infatuation with the woman and the woman didn't see them in that light. So maybe that was just their experience. But I think absolutely men and women can be friends. I think they can be platonic. I think they can be lovers. I think they can be, from my personal experience, I've been single since the separation. It's been about 4 years. Intentionally, haven't been with anybody or nothing, no interaction. That's because I've literally let go of the old identity. I come from a womanizing type of industry. I was in the fashion industry for 22 years at quite a high level. So I know what it's like to not take advantage of women, but, be with lots of women. And I've been fortunate enough to be friends with a lot of them still after so many years.
Okay.
And so I'm friends with a lot of them. And I think that's it's a really general comment. I think that depends on the individual, because I can be friends with you. We don't need to go out and, you know what I mean? What that's not what it's about anymore, because my search, my quest, I don't need anything. I'm actually quite content. If I'm by myself for the rest of my life, I'm okay. I've had many sexual relationships in my past, but my soul would like to find my friend, my brother, my sister, my mother, my father, my lover, all in one. So yeah, I believe it can exist. I believe they're out there, and I believe people are living in all these different types of relationships. But I don't think a lot of them need to post about it, need to talk about it, because it's nothing to be talked about. I think it's people's maybe their insecurities of not being able to find the one that they like, and it's difficult to talk about. A lot of people are lonely out there in the world, and so when they fall for somebody and it's not being reciprocated on the other end, they tend to draw back and kind of put up this wall, and that wall will cause blockages in their sacral, which will cause blockages in their whole energy centers, which will, in turn trap a story in their human subconscious mind, and lo and behold, they can't be friends with the woman or a girl, or vice versa. I know women that are like that as well, right? It's not just men that can't be friends with women. There's women that can't be friends with guys.
Yeah, and that was going to be my next, when we're looking on the outside world, this when we have our massive many awakenings that we do as a spiritual community or a spiritual individual, right? We start looking at the outside world of what we used to be in as the big bad wolf, and we want to not look at it anymore, because we don't want to be drawn back in. But with the work that we do, helping people transform, helping people on their journey, helping people get to the go inward and seek those dark places that hold all that information that's no longer for their greater good. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I notice is the story that has been downloaded to both men and women as we were children. No matter how good a life we've had, we've been downloaded some information that has been being given to us by our ego in fragmented states, right? So what we look at is, first we looked at, this was we first I looked at, I'll put it that way, as women being being part of the class that are being abused, or being the what do you call it, the being in fear mode, and being the one that got attacked or
victim.
Yeah. So we look at that, and we focus in on that, right? And that's there. That in there is separation. Some women look at it and going, well, men are all bad based on my experience, right? And energy, as we know it, matches energy, right? But what I noticed, and it started right before COVID for me to actually, when everybody's home, your family's all home, they're sitting at home and they're having these conversations, family and close friends and male people in the family were having a conversation. And in it, I don't know if you call it a download, an implode, or whatever. There's all these places for women that have their safe place, but not for men to have a safe place and go inward and be comfortable going inward, be comfortable going inside themselves, and having that space to go, oh, why do I keep picking the same women? Why am I a sounding board for women? Every time I get into a relationship, I get beat up and abused. We've got a lot of husbands that spend a lot of great time at work with all this stuff on them, and we know that the story is, buck up, little camper. You're supposed to be strong. You're not supposed to cry. You're supposed to take everything on your shoulder. You're the man, blah, blah. So while they're at work, they've got this mask on of who they are. And then when they go home to fear.
Yeah. Well, I feel you're right. I feel women have had more of an outlet and outreach to, family members are more sympathetic towards females, especially in my generation, growing up. 74 baby. And so it was like, oh, you're tired, parents are mad at you, wife's mad at you, kids are driving you crazy, suck it up, go to work, suppress your emotions, it's always about sucking it up. But that's counterintuitive, you know what I mean? Because that's not the right way to push through what is the adversities. And so we actually have to look at our past. We have to understand our past, what we did wrong, in order to get through the other side.
Right. And the reason why I started with this, I just dived in, is because when I read in your bio, okay, in your bio, where you say, okay, you say, guiding souls on a journey of transformation and self-discovery. And this is the most, to me, the self-discovery for anyone anywhere going through anything is what we were. I was called to do it in my light language and everything. But the divine, when I woke up this morning, the divine said, "This is the question that you're going to ask him." And told me that you're going to be ready for the answer. Okay, so here is what I see, regardless of whether we're aware or no, whether we're conscious or unconscious of the story that was told and who the story was told by. And the reason why I say this is I had a friend that we were having a discussion, and the way she reported it to me, she used to help me with my YouTube and figuring that out. So it's no one, and if anybody comes in and thinks that it's a soul friend from IG, it's not you. This is a friend who is considers herself on the spectrum, considers herself a little bit ahead of the game, ahead of other people, that she's got this, she's got this information. So we were discussing the same thing. And I mentioned that the story that men have, no, she said, well, the reason why, I only care about the women and how women, that the women have safe places. The story is coming, to a head, and women their own, and they're coming out, they're being grounded and finding safe places to heal and whatnot. And I said, well, what about men? And she said to me, she says, what about them? They're the ones that created their own problem that they're stuck in. Because true, right? But I say this because the ones who created the story of men should be strong, men should hold on a second. Someone is trying to get in. Hold on. I think Samir is that it. Samir is trying to come into the live. I know Samir. I think you might, if I'm pronouncing the name correct. Just let me know when and if he's asking to come into the live. So right now I'm
bring him in.
Bring him in. All right.
See what he's got to say.
All right. Anyway, so the thing is, even though this all of this started from men having a certain desire, from who knows, it could have been centuries and centuries ago, that men should be strong, men shouldn't cry, men don't hit little girls, this whole story. Do you think men can heal from that? I mean, I believe they need to have a safe space as well for healing. I believe that they've got two things that keep them from that safe place. Men who are having the safe space and not knowing if they're going to be judged by other men about how they've succumbed to the fact that they've been in an abusive relationship, that the woman, now it says that he can't join, so maybe he's left. But and maybe the request is just stuck. We'll just ignore it for a while. But so, and then on the other hand, how many women, whether they're psychiatrists or psychologists or therapists or even spiritual healers or whatnot, aren't going to judge? When you're in that, helping these individuals, whether they be women in this transformational state, how much of that old story and old dogma do you resonate, or do you explain to them? That
all of it. It has everything to do with it. Their old story has everything to do with pushing past and letting go of that identity. But you can't let go of that identity unless you find out why you accepted it to begin with.
Right. Okay.
And so it has everything to do with our past. It has everything to do with the abuse that we endured. It has everything to do with the negative energetic boundaries that were crossed, but you also allowed it to happen. You're absolutely right. Your friend is right. We brought everything on ourselves. But
you just paused. Are you okay? He just paused. He might have got a call. Peter, if he wants to let other people in, I will let you in later. We're just getting started, but I do see that you have a request. So hold on tight. And let's see. I have a feeling that he just left. He's going to come back. So hold on. Anyway, so we're talking about we started with the informational tools based on what science says about male females being able to be friends. And science says that biology dictates whether that men and women can't be friends. They have to be, because they're driven by procreation, or whatnot. And we were just discussing that. Hold on a second. Let's see if he's gonna come back in. Anyway, so let me go back through the gender is fluid. Even if we have male, female bodies, our spirit is fluid. Yes, you are absolutely correct, Gravity Matt. Let's see. I'm going to wave at Catherine and Stephen. I'm going to wave at Gravity Matt. And hold on, we're just waiting for him to come back in. He might have had a problem with his internet. We're just going to be patient. So anyway, things happen. I'm going to tell you, my phone has been running hot and whatnot. So, just figuring stuff out. So, Peter, it will be okay for you to come in, but I wanted to hold on. I tell you what, Peter, I'm going to accept you and let you come in until he figures out what he needs to do. And then once he comes in, I do want to keep it on the vein of the hi, Peter.
Hi, Sandra. How are you?
I'm okay. Make sure we can see your face.
Yeah, I'm just going to move this a bit further back. There we go.
And I'm going to Teddy back in. So, yay!
Hi, Teddy. How are you?
Good, brother. How you doing?
Yeah.
I'm good, mate. And do you know, you're talking about, can men and women be friends? Most of my friends are female, and I feel comfortable around females more than I do males. Now, the reason why I feel comfortable around females is I grew up with a lot of girls, so I was comfortable around girls. And that, like, what some of my mates would tell them when the time of the month was on, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like when the lady things were happening, and I was like, okay, that's a bit too much information. But they felt safe around me.
All right. Oh, listen to that little voice. Oh, it sounds like an angel. Okay, so does he want to say hi to us?
No, he's just upstairs. There's no school today. I didn't know.
Oh, okay. No problem.
That's fine.
I know what it. I grew up being a single mother. And a single dad or single mother, there's no difference. When you gotta dive into your kids, you just go dive.
That's priority number one right there. He's right. My intent and my intention. The reasons why I want to show up for humanity and share what it is that I have, and right. So, which it goes a great along with I love coaching. I love clearing energy for people, but that shit is tiring, man. I want to give the tools for people to do it themselves. That's what I love to do. I want to give people the tools because I don't want to create a client list. I want to create other healers. So the way to heal the world is to heal yourself. Just simply work on yourself. I became a Reiki master because I need a Reiki to align my chakras. Before I even knew what a chakra was, I needed to do movement and shaking, so I became a Qigong facilitator. I needed to I needed to get present and open up my heart chakra, so I became a breath coach. I wanted to explore my past life, so I became an Akashic record reader and clear. Everything
Right.
that I've done it just strictly for myself, to heal myself and to soothe myself. And so now I find myself giving people these sessions, but that's tiring, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that. I want to teach people how to become an Akashic record reader and clear. I want to teach people how to become a Reiki level 1, level 2. I want to teach people how to become a breath level 1 coach. I want to teach people how to become a Qigong facilitator. I don't want to give, that's not what I'm here for. And kind of like last night, I'm lying in bed. They're like, "Well, what are you going to talk with Sandra about?" I don't know. Right now, I'm on a transformational shift, and I'm healing the toxic femininity and building my masculinity. Like you, Peter, I was raised by a single mother. I had an older sister, and I was raised by my grandmother. All women. My guides, I got 11 druid, Celtic druid queens that are my guides. Most of my guides are all female. I got Akasha, I got Virgo, and I got. Our internet's back on. Okay, you can watch it. Question. Yeah. Where's the chicken? It's getting prepped. It'll be ready soon. And so, I feel comfortable with the female counterpart as well.
Okay. Okay.
Say hi.
Hi.
Oh, he's gorgeous.
What do you say?
Stop slapping yourself. Stop slapping yourself.
All right. Okay.
Oh, my Dad,
No.
let me use your hand. Please.
Okay.
Let me use your hand. Let me use your hand.
Okay.
Please.
Now he wants to be on.
Now,
No, use your
John.
hand.
Let me finish.
One
Okay.
set. One set. No, let me use it. Stop slapping yourself. Stop slapping yourself.
Thanks, buddy. I love you.
I remember that one. I used to do that to brothers. Stop slapping yourself and make them slap.
Yeah. My sister used to do that to me all the time.
Yeah.
So I was raised by women my whole life. I once I got into healing and found out what this was all about,
Mm-hmm.
I thought for sure, I'm going to help a lot of men that are going through what I'm going through. But 95% of the people that I help are women. I just feel comfortable. I understand the femininity. I understand the toxic masculinity. I grew up in the middle of bikers and organized crime in the ports of Joe. So I was being abused and groomed at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, drinking glasses of gin and vodka and rum to get 2 quarters to go at a very young age. And the women were being abused the other way. So that was my life. And I always knew, I'm like, oh man, this is like, I'm like, I'm not from this family. This is crazy. I don't want to be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, you don't have much choice at that age. But I always knew I was from somewhere else. And so when I embarked on this journey, and so last night in bed, they're like, what are you going to talk about? I'm like, I don't know. Then all of a sudden, my Spica family, because I'm a Spican starseed from the Virgo constellation, I reside in my soul's origin. I reside in the 6th and 7th dimension.
Mm-hmm.
And we're the ancestors of the Arcturians. And a lot of us, I'm on my 163rd incarnation on planet Earth right now.
Wow.
I'm tired, man. I'm tired. I don't want to teach people. I want to teach people. I don't want to heal. I don't want to have to give sessions. I want to teach them to heal themselves. And the more we can tune in, the more we can tune out the distraction. And that's what it's all about. So your friend, she's right on the money. I think she has a little animosity against some men, which is fine, because that's going to be her way to get the man that she wants. So, lo and behold, she's going to find the exact guy that she wants because she has some sort of animosity towards him, but she'll sort that out. And as I did as well, I was in a kind of a toxic relationship, but also the person that I loved the most is that one person, because without her, I wouldn't have had the tools to shift and pivot to find the strength to keep pursuing forward. So lo and behold, the one person that the most is the one that gave me the tools that I need to be able to have the audacity to sit here and have these conversations and think I know what I'm talking about, because I'm only can speak on my own personal experience because I've tuned in. So I can only share my own experience, and it may resonate with other people, and they can pick and choose what resonates and throw the rest away, because that's what I've done. That's what I have adapted from my teachers, my mentors,
Right.
my guides, my elders, who are all women. You know, so it's, people just go through their own journey. They made it themselves, and it's all designed by me, by the way, for this moment. And so because I'm an Akashic record reader and clear, I've been around for, so the average lifespan is about 100 years. And after you die, there's about a 10-year linear space of you going to your soul's origin. Like, you just wake up from your dream, from your soul's origin. So I'm on a spiritual journey. And when I die, I go to my soul's origin. I go to my reality. And
Right.
it's about a 10-year span in linear time to me to understand what just happened, because I'm awakening to my soul's origin, to the 6th and 7th dimension where I come from.
Mm-hmm.
And so after 10 years, I come back in. So I'm on my 163rd. I already know I'm coming back for the 164th. I've already seen that. I'm in alignment with my future self, walking the path that I'm on now.
Right.
So if you are on earth right now and you are going through your awakenings, because the last 600 years we've been coerced, been nudged and influenced to be part of the 3D matrix, and they've done such an amazing job. I got so much envy on how smart and intellectually smart they are. People will think they're not, but they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
They know all the tools that we have. They've been using them against us. All the, like, the third, whatever thing they do with the third eye and all the hand gestures that people automatically associate, oh, that's the devil symbol. No, it's not. Those are light symbols, and they can't actually use them to activate, because you need to have a heart to activate these mudras. So
Right.
when they use them, they're bamboozling. They're literally using our ignorance against us, because everyone's like, oh, that's the devil. Look at Jay-Z doing the third eye, the evil eye. He's plagiarizing. He's using it against us so that we don't use it, because he wants everyone to think that it's the devil. But no, it actually, he can't activate it to actually use it to support himself, because his heart isn't pure. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
because,
all these things that they're using against us is to dumb us down to think that we can't use it. But those are the exact things that we need to use to empower ourselves.
yes, exactly. And I was going to ask you, I was raised, well, I come from a family of 5 kids. So I have I have an older brother and sister, and a younger brother and sister, in exactly that order. And I'm the middle child. Okay. But I was raised by a single parent, my mom, and I've always had my grandmother around as well. But I've always, my father and stepfather have always been in the scene. My uncles have always been in the scene, and I got a lot of information from them, and a lot of seeing them be strong, and a lot, and them showing me strength, right? Of course, I didn't see the other end of it, where, you know, when they would lose people in their lives, I didn't see the tears. I didn't see the heart part of it, right? Mm-hmm. So, but I'm comfortable with both men and women. I'm going to ask you a question, but I want to explain who I am now in the journey that I'm doing. I just closed on a journey that I have done. I just wrote the end of it. I just realized that I wrote the end of it. This book is closed. I'm opening another book, and I'm writing the table of contents story. And basically also realizing from the time I was born, this vibration of just liking girls or women, right? But I grew up, I was born in the 50s, Teddy. I was born in 1957. I grew up in the 60s and 70s. Back then, there was no such thing as gay or lesbian. There was no such thing as being out or whatnot. And
it was behind closed doors.
Yeah.
They were in the closet.
But even then, the terminology of closet wasn't even there, right?
Right.
So, so the first half of my journey is about living, and I'm going to tell you, our divine beings, everything that all the light codes that they put in our Akashic records for them remembering what they came into this spiritual realm to do, be, feel, see through this physicality that is called Sandra, with a body and a mind that has a free will to move and give my higher being the form journey that it's on, to help it shift into the dimensions that it wants to shift. I have to say, I give it all the glory, because it's like you gave me free will, and I chose these paths based on information that came down on me, and I never saw myself as just a survivor. I never saw myself as a thriver yet, but I didn't see myself as just a survivor, or somebody that was being being what is that word? I haven't said that word in so long now I can't even think of it. But being I can't even think of it, Teddy. I can't even think of the word. But being broken by someone, or being in a cage by someone. I never thought of it that way.
Suppressed?
Huh?
Suppressed?
Suppressed. There you go. I never thought of it being like that. Okay, so now, so my story is, I never was a person that hated men. I was just a person that liked women. I didn't get a chance to do it in that first half of the story. So that, I don't know, could that be that be my feminine self helping me to go, it's okay, just keep with the story, create your story. So I like you said earlier, I had relationships, they were with men. It wasn't that I didn't like it. It wasn't that it wasn't not great, and it wasn't great. It just was. But men because I liked women, no, right? But that's the story, that's the dogma that you're fed, that something's wrong with you, okay? And come on, when I was growing up, either you were going to a psychiatrist or laying on somebody's couch, because something was wrong with you, going to get hands laid on you, going to to get the devil out of you, those kind of things. So it was never talked about. So this half of my journey, now I have the journey, and the reason why I say this is because I had somebody recently, and I live in Long Beach, right? And in Long Beach, they've got the gay community, they've got they've got everything. And my relationship with people, whether they're men or women, is not about it being it's not about it being it's not about it being, I'm trying to think of the right word, part of the societal standard, right? It's about me enjoying who I want to sleep with.
Yeah. I think can I answer that question? Sorry.
Yeah.
I think what it is we're living in it. We're starting to live in a more accepting society now. So where we're becoming more aware of things. So like, for example, like me and you talk about a lot about autism, and people are starting to get their heads around what is autism. And I think now we're slowly becoming more accepting of difference.
Okay.
And I think what it is like you said, you never spoke about that, like being in a relationship with a woman or a man being in a relationship. It was never spoken about, and it was like, well, okay, we don't speak about these things because we don't want to accept that some people like the same gender, and sometimes it can come across like, wow, okay, but like I say about autism, and I was talking to someone about this today, funny enough, like with autism, people go, well, there still is that like stigma around it where people go, oh, you don't look autistic, you don't look like this, you don't do this, you don't, and it's like, just because I don't act like what you think a typical autistic person is, don't assume I have struggles. And I think when you start talking to people, because for me, when I was younger, I was learning. The way I learn is about being around people who are like gay, bisexual, and I learn like from their experience.
Right.
And I think a lot what it boils down to as well, and this is just my opinion. I think people are scared of people who are different, or people who like different things than them.
Okay.
And it's like, how do we show this difference in a positive light?
So that's what I want to, that's what I would, the statement that they used was, and this is what, if somebody made the statement to you, Teddy, in you teaching them how to, how to transform and go into their self-discovery, it didn't, I don't think it triggered me, but my, I, I don't live life to have a, I have a, my life isn't about a community of people. Do you know what I mean? I don't sleep with the girls so that I can be in a community of girls and hold up a community of girls, and do you know what I mean? I just living life, and it so happens that I've always liked women. But the statement, you like women, what did men ever do to you? Why
Yeah, I
did
think, yeah.
why
So listening to the conversation, going like, who cares? I don't. Who cares if I like women? Who cares if you like girls? Who cares if someone's gay or lesbian? Who cares? Fucking
right.
like, who cares, man? Like, your life is so great that you care about what sexual preference people have. I don't have time for that. It's just, it doesn't resonate with me. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's so.
But
It's,
but
you know.
mattering to somebody that you're
Yeah.
through the transformational. How does and I mean, art is so much that, oh God, this question is so vast, because we're talking about not just people who are waking up to their spirituality, right? And they're waking up to all these new modalities of who they are and how they came to be, and what doesn't fit for them anymore. It's also people who are still living the life of what we call the 3D, blah blah blah, the matrix, blah blah blah, the illusion. And we're here to help. How do you start to teach them this self-discovery? How that particular statement that person made, I could have jumped to what I said was, I never had a negative experience with men, so I don't think my gayness or I didn't.
So that person that left that comment, was it a male?
It was a female.
It was a female.
Yeah.
What did men ever do to you?
And see, that tells me that she's going from her I immediately went to how she's viewing the perception of why women like
other women. Yeah.
why women like other women is because men have done something horrible, and probably in her perception horrible to her. So I didn't feel like I had to lash out, but I did feel open enough to tell her it's not because it's just because I've just always had this feeling, this vibration feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said
Yeah.
it's I think it was Coach G that said, let me go back. I Coach Jinky said, actually, period, you aren't gay, and that's in parentheses, per se.
Right.
Right? Okay, so I get that, but that can go in so many ways, right? Are we just talking about the term gay being a label, or something that you see that's vibrating in me? Melissa says, in the past, many would fear the thing that they didn't or couldn't understand due to old stories. Absolutely.
You know, I think
Yeah.
you just she was uncomfortable probably being around other men who like men, or even women who like women. That person that left that comment, maybe she's just uncomfortable in the same sex type of environments.
I never even thought of it that way.
You know, maybe she's just uncomfortable because she hasn't been exposed to it. Maybe she grew up very religious and it was taboo in her around the dinner table, and now it's becoming, who knows? You know what I mean? It's so complex. Nothing's black and white. Nothing is one-sided anymore. You know, when people are like, give me one word, it's difficult to just choose one word to describe things these days because nothing's so black and white.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or it's so broad, you know, like, yeah. And I feel like if you're on Earth today, so you were born in the last 600 years, which we've been controlled by the dark forces, which means you probably have had a maximum of 5 incarnations in the last 600 years. And so any dreams, desires, and manifestations that are coming up today is because in a previous life, prior to the 600 years, you have tasted that dream, desires, manifestation. That's why you have them today. That's why you want them. That's why you're in this lifetime. Like, I'm missing something. I want something because you know you deserve it. You know you can have it. You know you can achieve it. Right. So now you have to go past. You have to go through the blocks of the last 600 years, and you probably had them in the incarnations prior to that as well. So you have to understand your past. You have to go into the past. You have to unblock, understand it, to get through to your future self who's walking the path and the reasons why you chose to embark on a spiritual journey to begin anyway.
Okay.
So
yeah.
It's complex, man. You know, but it's really simple at the same time as well. You know, it's like it's all in the articulation on someone explaining what it is that we're going through. And if you can articulate it properly for someone to receive it the way you perceive it to be, then you'll coagulate. You will be on the same page. You will understand one another, and it won't be about whether you like boys or girls. You're just coming together as like-minded people, not by like-minded sexual preferences. Yeah, I think people put sexual preferences in between them to stop them from having that soulful connection.
Yeah. You know, the divine has a lot going on in this this conversation. It's like, so my question, hold on, Peter. Sure. My question to you, I had another question and it just came back to me. When you said you found yourself working, helping more women do their self-discovery and their journey. Do you think in that them by doing it that way, it is transforming and changing the old stories for men without even doing the work for men? Do you think that not the vibration of those stories are changing as you're helping more women with their self-discovery, with their self-discovery of boundaries, and or you know, that they can love themselves, that they can hold space for their own self, that they can sit and surrender things that no longer serve them, but at the same time they have to go and find all the information, even the stories that have been written for men that that have overshadowed them as well. Do you know what I mean? Is that my question is that a possibility within the guiding that you give?
I think it all boils down for, it doesn't matter. The fact that I just help, I happen to be helping more women than men. I think, I don't think it's relevant to some degree, but at the end of the day, whether I'm helping, and I've helped many men as well, it just happens to be more women, trusting themselves. It's about men trusting themselves, and it's about women trusting themselves, and not neglecting what comes into the forefront of their awareness, because most of the time what comes in the forefront of their awareness is their ego, their inner child, their triggers, the shit that they don't want to face. So they turn around. They don't want to face it because they don't trust themselves to be able to pull through it. So men or women, again, it's like sexual preference. I don't think it's relevant. There's some relevancy there, but at the end of the day, it's just guiding people to trust themselves on what's coming up. Okay, what's coming up? All right, let's talk about that. Let's talk about what's coming up there. How would you feel if you can get through that? What does it feel like if you get through that? Where do you see yourself? Okay, now we take that result and we go back to why you were being blocked. Let's find where it's associated in the energy centers, and then let's see where it's trapped in the subconscious mind. Put them together, and then we can reframe it, polarize it, create the proper modality, because it's either emotional, mental, spiritual, or physical, and it's always going to be within your people, places, and things, within your inner energetic circle. Nothing is outside of it.
Okay.
Nothing is outside of it.
Nothing.
Everything's within your inner energetic circle of people, places, and things. No ifs or buts about it. That's why you got to tune in. When you tune in, you're just staying within your inner energetic circle of people, places, and things, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, or physically. And if it's physically, that means you have a subconscious mind, subconscious story trapped inside your body. It's causing you disconnection. So it's probably causing you disconnection. So the subconscious mind is your human interaction based on a childhood interaction exchange. So when you come in and confronting again as an adult, you're like, oh, you go back to that initial energetic exchange, and all of a sudden you shrivel up, scared. Those are human experience. The way to unblock those human experience, to go into our energy centers, into our chakras, is how you unblock and retell your subconscious mind a new story. It's not overnight, and it's not one size fits all. So it's very complex on what people are going through, but it's not impossible. We have everything that we need to go through anything we want to go through. You just got to trust yourself, and don't be afraid to, if trust yourself above all. So if you go see somebody, see yourself through it, follow through it. And I've done this for years, man, years. I don't follow through. I remember my first, it's Teddy Lawson, by the way, not Larson. When I first did my ayahuasca ceremony, I went in there, and all of a sudden, like my ego, my inner child, all of them came right in front of me, and it was like the what's that Mexican Halloween mask that they use, the devil face all painted. It just showed up like he was ready to fucking, sorry, Wolf, I'll put money in the swear jar. He came up, he was like, whoa, I'm like, and I opened my eyes, and I came back to the room, and everybody's like, we're all on ayahuasca, there's like 19 of us, and I just saw dimensions, like multiple dimensions, and I just saw like, whoa. And then my grandmother's like, don't be afraid, go back in there. I'm like, Grandma. She's like, go back in there, and I went back, and I'm like, what do you want, man? And when I came in with that force, what do you want? They just shriveled down. They just want to be loved. They're not afraid. Like, my ego doesn't like to be called ego. His name is Hanuk. He's like, I don't want to control you. I'm not trying to manipulate you. I'm scared. So I cause you distraction. I cause you addiction. I cause you compulsiveness. I create self-judgment. I create abandonment, all these things, because I'm scared, because that soul aspect of ourselves lives in a dimension where space and time doesn't exist.
Right.
So when you push past that one adversity that you're pushing past to today, but you don't follow through, is because your soul aspect that got scared is living in a time and space, and they think that you may still be that same incarnation of when you push past that resistance, and you were probably persecuted, shamed, blamed, maybe even killed or murdered in that lifetime. So you come in this lifetime and you're going to push past it again. It creates these adversities, these distractions of self-thoughts and negative self-talks. And, you know, you find yourself in this karmic loop.
Right. Right.
But our soul
Wow.
doesn't. So Hanuk is like, just, I like it when you, first of all, thank you for calling me by my name. I don't like to be called, no ego likes to be called ego, because it's associated with a negative context. They're just an inner child. They're just scared. So he's like, when I talk to him now and I find myself having these negative self-thoughts, I'm like, Hanuk, it's okay. We're going to push past this. I'm not the same person I was when that happened to you in a previous life. We're in a new life. We have tools. We got the techniques. We got the resources. We got the community. Let's push past. Let's see where it goes. He's like, all right. And it's always bright. It's always beautiful. It's always uplifting. And he's so grateful. He's talking to me all the time. And he's not talking to me in the ego type of way. He's talking to me like, thank you for seeing me. Thank you for honoring me.
Right.
Thank you for letting me know that I'm not alone.
Right.
And I tell him, I'm like, I'm scared too. I'm scared too. I'm having this human experience. I'm scared too, but I trust myself and I trust you will back me up and you won't cause me any more resistance. So let's push past it. Let's do this together. We're in it together. Let's bring in the other ones, you know, and let's do it. And so when we can bring more of that awareness into our subconscious mind and our human experience, we can push past anything. We can push past any adversity, but you have to talk to them. They're just scared. Our fragmentations of our souls is living in a dimension, and the 5D. The 5D, by the way, is just a place of information where we share in the 3D.
Yeah.
I mean, integrate this information in the 5D, in the 6D, 7D, 9D, the 144 frequency, whatever, however you choose to get your information from. It's just information that you integrate. You integrate it by allowing the ideologies and perspectives to sink in to your being, to see yourself outside of that character that got damaged in that interaction.
Mm-hmm.
And you see yourself not being that person. You're like, oh, there's so much compassion. After that compassion comes, there's a key code. A key code is just a droplet of information that connects information to what you already know, and it kind of makes it tangible. It makes it like a thing that you can share with people. That's the key code. And then the key code will give you a download, and you're like, oh my God. And then the download is that extra energetic armor of protection, and then you get an activation. The activation could be a sense of your intuition just coming online a little bit more, you trusting yourself.
Right. Okay, with that, with the that you just gave us, this NJ Brody's in the house. Welcome. You're just giving us all these nuggets, man. Nuggets. So you said your ego likes being called by its name. How do, and this is a question, I don't know if it's kind of like you gotta, you know, I already believe I know. I have to, my soul, I believe my higher being knows my ego's name. I believe that, you know, that. But how did you become aware of your ego's name?
I do shadow. Listen, man, I'm a tormented soul. I'm a wounded warrior, and I struggle day. But I have the tools. I got the resources. I got the community. I got my mentors. I got my counselors. I got my teachers.
Okay.
If you're in this, you got to have it too. And if you don't, well, you know, where are you gaining it? Listen, at the beginning, I was just receiving, and I was just allowing it to be received. So as I was doing my work about 2 months ago, I was letting go of the toxic femininity. Very, very. I needed to be seen by this woman. I needed her permission. I needed approval for me to be who I am today. And I was just being intoxicated with negative self thoughts, negative self-talk. I was beating myself up, thinking I wasn't worthy enough to be who I am. Like, what audacity do I have to think that I can share something with people that's going to resonate with them, to think that I can help them? That's what I was going through. And so as I was sitting there, I'm like, ego, I don't like to be
Can you?
called ego. I don't like to be called ego. I'm like, what? I'm like, well, wait a minute. Well, what do you like to be called? He's like, well, go to this book here. I got some books around me, you see, and I just open it. First page I opened up to was an old Sanskrit Jewish name called Hanuk. It was Enoch, uh, but spelled Hanok. So Hanuk.
Okay.
So he liked the old ancient Hebrew name Hanuk, not the modern name Enoch. And that's
Okay.
how I found it. But all you got to do is ask, where would you like me to look? Trust yourself above all. It could be a number, it can be a letter, it can be a person, it could be a street name, it could be a dog, it could be a meal. Maybe that meal is served at a certain restaurant. Maybe you like to cook that meal and you have to go buy the ingredients somewhere, and the person casting you out is a friend that you've come to know because you go there all the time. Maybe that person has the answer for you. So follow through and trust yourself above all, and you'll get the name. It's quite that simple. And just trust it. Like, just trust it to be. And then when I'm like, Hanuk, and he was just like fluttering me, like my hair's, I'm in like 90-degree weather right now. I'm sweating, but I'm cold. I'm chilling because he's just so like, yes, thank you for honoring me. Thank you for talking to me. Thank you for talking about me. Thank you for seeing me, not neglecting me. And like, that's pretty amazing feeling. I trust that above all. That subconscious mind, that human interaction is stuck into my story, and I don't know if it'll ever go anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's all about trusting yourself above all and moving forward with it. And if it feels uncomfortable, you'll know, because it will cause you disconnection, disease, dis-ease.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And you just keep searching until you find it. And when you find it, you'll know. You have to trust yourself. You have to have some sort of inner compass that's guiding you, that you trust, your intuition, your gut feeling, your instinct. You got to have some of that, and you got to trust yourself above all. Stop second guessing yourself. Stop asking, oh, I wonder if it heard me, because then you just cut yourself off from it. So you have to like really trust that the universe is hearing you. God is hearing you. He or she is. I believe God is a woman. I believe God is a man. I believe it's both. I believe it's the divine feminine, divine masculine.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really, truly believe it's a female, a real female figure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the real leaders of the future are the femininity leaders of today. The ones that are showing up. But they're not going to come and lead us until the divine masculine awakens.
Right.
And the divine masculine isn't going to be awakened until the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius is going to activate our throat chakra. The masculinity of our energy center is our throat chakra. Right. The one that can see, the one that can hear.
Source is light beyond our comfort. Well, first of all, to going back to how many reincarnations my soul has done. My soul has told me, my soul likes to laugh with me. My higher being just likes to laugh with me. And I've never really been into caring about how many incarnations I've had. I've never been really caring about what the labels of my light language is. It's just, I'm doing it. I'm in service. I'm called to serve. I'm going through this journey, learning about my surrender, learning about, actually, I was talking about it yesterday on another live that I had, that in finding out that I'm serving the divine, that I can actually, if I'm in service or being called to serve, and I feel that I'm new to the gifts that I'm opening up to you serve, I didn't know that because I yielded the form of me to the divine, that I could actually say no to the divine. I don't think I'm ready to do that. So I went through that awakening that the divine says, you can say no to me and I will say yes. And it will come back around. And don't worry, I've got someone else that's going to help in the journey of that seed person or situation. But what I did learn from my soul early on, that my higher, or my soul or spirit, whatever label anyone to give, you pick because you know what labels you are in the room. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. It resonates with me, but it might not with you. That's okay. It's all about your journey and where you are now and where you're going and what fits. There, one size does not fit all. So for me, my higher being just kind of told me I'm ancient. I, I'm that ancient that I can't give you a number of your incarnations, and I can't give you a number of your incarnations because you've been everywhere and nowhere all at the same time, right? So,
Well, yeah.
so for me, I love how you actually tapped into your ego's name. Have you ever tapped into your higher being's name?
Yeah. Akasha, Virgo.
Mm-hmm. Ah, okay.
And I bought pendulums for them.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Akasha. She was a princess
Okay.
warrior. She was my in 1700s. I'm Mohawk Indian. She was a princess in my grandmother's tribe.
Mm-hmm.
That's Akasha.
Okay.
This is Virgo. No, this is
Mm-hmm.
Avatar.
Okay. That's
And I have another one, Virgo around. So yeah, I've tapped into many. I don't have them all, but I have a
uh-huh.
runner guide. I got a runner guide, a healer guide, a primary healer guide, a teacher guide, a primary teacher guide, a creative guide, an angel guide, and my primary guide, like my right hand man. But she's a woman. but you know, they were all human as well.
Right. Right.
Right. So I know I'm going to be a guide one day. I've already taken on that initiation. I'm going to guide someone else on their human journey. I don't know when. I'm not done doing what I'm doing here because I'm here for the Great Awakening, which is the 2,000 years of the Golden Age. But the first 1,000 years of the Golden Age, which is what we're in right now, is healing,
Yeah.
sharing, teaching, educating. But I'm a student of life. That's why I'm like, I don't want to give people sessions, although I have sessions.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to give people the tools to do it themselves, to carry it on themselves.
Right. Right.
I think once and once I'm done laying down the foundation, I will embark on my guide journey and guiding another human through their evolutionary experience in the 3D matrix, because the matrix isn't going anywhere. It doesn't matter if Trump gets in or whoever gets in. It doesn't matter. The matrix is there to help us awaken. That's what it's there for. That's literally why it's here.
Right. I believe that whatever you call the matrix, the moment that you find out that this exists in your
Peter, thanks, by the way.
pardon?
Sorry, just wanted to thank Peter for showing up. And
Oh yes, I was hoping that he would come back. Let me see. Because I felt energy that he wanted to ask a question, and he wanted to ask it of you. So hopefully he'll come back. I just got that.
ask away.
Yeah, so maybe he'll come back into the into the comments and ask. Uh,
He did.
he
Bounce.
You never know. But we welcome him when he comes back. And oh God, what was I gonna say?
You're asking about names of our guides and if I tapped into any higher dimension, higher selves, if I have their names.
Yeah, and I was about to hold on. I'm
And you're on
sorry.
all the time, man.
I'm listening. They're telling me to go on. Okay. It's not for right now, so I'll leave it. It's a question. the divine says you're coming back, and that's a question for another the installment. But you have given me some oh, padakushi na titio no tokua, the matrix. Polokuna e teasha. It's the question that I'm going to have for a later conversation is about the matrix. But a lot of people have, you know, we're all into these labels, and everybody's saying, oh, you know, and based off of, you know, the movie The Matrix, all four of them and everything, we're in the matrix. And though I'll just use the word ego. A lot of the time, our ego wants to, because it wants to protect us, it presents us with fight, flight, resist, or whatnot. It presents us with that because it thinks that if it keeps you safe, then you're not going to get hurt by stepping out and experiencing something wonderful. And it doesn't know that part of making a mistake or you know, is part of the journey of creation. And it's okay because your ego, when the way we look at it, either people think of it as evil and it's an evil entity, but it's a part of us that doesn't know that it's a part of something greater, right? So when we're looking at the matrix and we're going, oh, it's the matrix, it's all, you know, third density, and it's not really real, and it's not really blah blah blah, but it is. It's form. It's very real, and you're the creator in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And are you going to allow your ego to convince you to run from it, try to break out of it, or are you going to let your ego know that along with your higher being and your form body, that you're the creator, right?
Yeah.
And once that kind of, when I sat the seat of my soul there with that, it was like, shit. It's like, okay, you're saying this is the matrix and all of this stuff is here. So start moving. I want to move, you know, some angles around. I want to move, you know, I want to open up some doors. And the thing is, when I really went back and I watched the matrix, he wasn't about trying to break free from it. He had started creating things and changing things and moving things and moving, and objects started moving around. He started shifting, right? Which is what our divine, the earth consciousness through form, body, and humanity is supposed to be doing anyway. We're supposed to
shift our mentality to shift our reality.
Yes.
We are spiritual beings having a human experience, and the matrix is a human experience.
Yes.
So you can't disconnect from it. So in order for us to have any sort of awareness of what it is that we're doing in and around the 5D, we need to have the human experience to bring it back in. So you need your body, your mind, and your soul all intact. If they are disconnected, then you're not going to bring it together. So in order to shift your reality, you got to shift your mentality, but you have to be connected from the past, the present, and the future.
Yes.
The 3D, the 4D, the 5D.
Yes.
The body, mind, and soul. And if you are disconnected, and any one of those 9 is disconnected, then you are disconnected. You are not, and that's not a bad thing either, by the way. That's not a bad thing. It's just an opportunity for you to shift and pivot, to reconnect, to get to the next step, so that you can shift and pivot and connect, shift reality, shifting your mentality, your mentality. So we have to honor the matrix. That's part of our human experience. It's why you came down here. And you see that meme going around, due to unforeseen circumstances, I won't be reincarnating. So you've already made the commitment, and your soul is so committed in it and where it's from. Although you may think, oh, I don't want to come back down here again. No, you already made the commitment. So when you go back to our soul's origin, when you die and you have your 10-year reflecting on what happened on Earth, you're 100% coming back because you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? But it might seem bad now because you're unaware of all the connectivity between the 3D, the 4D, the 5D, the body, mind, and soul, the past, present, the future, the emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical body. It's all one. It's all one. But they're all happening in different. They happen emotionally. They happen emotionally, they happen mentally, they happen spiritually, they happen physically. The same things that is disconnecting you and the people, places, and things will disconnect you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically. When you can repair them and identify why you're being disconnected, you can then use the proper tools. But then once you healed the emotional body, well, then the spiritual body, the mental body needs to be healed in that same people, place, or thing. And then the spiritual body needs to be healed in that same people, place, or thing. And if it's physical, then, well, you have disharmony and this disconnection. So you need to repair that as well.
Right.
It's all one thing, man. But they're all separate, but they're all one. We're multidimensional, but we're human, having a human experience. So the Akashic records that I do, I don't know about living in Neptune. I don't know about living in the ninth dimension. I'm talking strictly about our 3D experience on planet Earth. That's the Akashic records that I specialize in. Your 3D human experience is all stored in the crystalline energy grids of Agatha. And so when you and when you pass on and you go to your soul's origin, all your memories of planet Earth.
In the nuts?
No.
Yes or no?
I don't. Are you hungry now?
I got to make me food!
5 more minutes, I'm gonna make you food.
0 minutes!
0 minutes. Okay, Sandra, I'm gonna put a 5-minute clock on this, okay?
Okay. Okay. That's wonderful. I love him. 0 minutes, man.
Oh man, he's my world. He's my world. He's such an amazing, bright child, and you know, it's everything that I do is to give him the tools, techniques, and resources, and introduce him to environments I didn't have growing up.
Yes.
My mom was 21 years old when she had me, and my dad disowned her and abandoned her when she was 7 months pregnant with me in San Francisco, and we're Canadian. So she had no jacket, no wallet, or no nothing. So she went to the airport, and they're like, "Oh, pardon, madame, but we in California we don't deport here." So we had to find her way to. They're like, "You need to go to Nevada or Arizona." I think she went to Arizona. My sister was 3, flew her back to Montreal. She had me 2 months later. And so for 42 years, I grew up. This is part of my human experience, a story that I undid after 42 years. I'm like, why doesn't my dad want to be like, I had daddy issues my whole life. Well,
I'm not patient anymore.
I know, but I need 5 more minutes, please.
2 more minutes.
And so I'm like, why didn't he want to take care of his son, man? I had issues my whole life. And so my dad was so conscious enough to know that he had to do what he did so that I wouldn't turn out like him. He was a little bit of a gangster. He got shot trying to rob a jewelry store in 1986. So what if I was in his life and he did get shot in 86? And as time went on, and I wanted to be like my dad, because every boy wants to be like their dad. It's the greatest gift is that my son loves me so much. And it's just like, oh, I don't know what that, I can't understand that. It's so amazing. He had to disown me, because what if he didn't die in 86? And in a future heist, in a future robbery, I was one of the victims. I wouldn't be here telling this story today. It might be different.
That's true.
I mean? So he was my biggest advocate. Now I speak to my dad every day. My mom also passed away 3.5 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago. I don't even remember. It doesn't even matter, because I speak to her. They're here right now. Yeah. My mom, my dad, my sister, my grandmother, my grandpa. I became the oldest person in my family at, I think, 47 years old. Though I hold all the knowledge. I'm like, what? I don't even know it all. But now I do, because they feed me droplets, because I trust myself. I trust what I'm being told and where I'm being guided, and I'm finding information about all this stuff, right? Yeah, total personal chef.
I'm looking at some of Melissa's comments. I didn't catch the one that she said earlier, but she says, didn't know that all that you wanted or needed to do. Incarnation on Gaia is very similar. It's all about perspective. Yeah, it's all about perspective. All of us have, all of us, I believe all of us, after reading The Divine Design, reading about the light quotient within our DNA that our higher beings use as the Akashic records, as we, the human experience of us lives life and allows the veils to lift from the higher being, that the higher being can be tapped into what they wanted to do, what they wanted to achieve, how they wanted to achieve it. The fact that us as a divine being has the pencil and eraser of our architectural map, and we get with free will to take our being on a journey, whether we're as for a greater good or not, right?
Yeah.
So but you know what, there's going to be a third episode with us.
Sure.
We're not finished. And I
want to share one last story before I go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about us walking our own path and the different perspectives that we're all living, and why it's so important that we continue living our own perspective and keep living and tuning into our own self. I have a YouTube channel, and I did a self. I do self ceremonies all the time, but this time they're like film it and then critique it. So I have a YouTube thing, and I did it, and during the ceremony, God came down and he unlocked my throat chakra and gave me my blue angel wings, and he's like, "Listen, man, I don't want you. I don't want you. We are the manifestation of the one. It's like, I don't want you guys walking in my shoes. Why do I want to? I walked in my shoes already. Why do I want you guys to walk in my shoes? I already know what that's like.
Yeah,
you guys are in such a greater advantage than I was when I was walking the earth. The earth has evolved tremendously, way more than when I walked it.
Right.
You guys are way more capable of greater things than when I walked it. You have way more tools than I had when I walked it. You must continue tuning in and trusting yourself, trusting your perspective, sharing your perspective, having these conversations so that I can experience you doing these things. That's what it's all about. So it doesn't matter what people's perspectives are, ideologies are, doesn't matter what anything that they think is correct to them. No one has any right to think any different. Doesn't matter, man. We live in a multiple, infinite possibilities. I mean, like infinite possibilities, right? We've all lived. The greatest thing that we can do from our soul's origin is have a human experience, because we get to have all these crazy emotions and disconnections, and we get to come center again. And when we leave this plane, we go back to our soul's origin. Like, that's a really incredible, what are we even talking about, experience.
Yeah.
And so he's just like, don't walk in my shoes, walk in your own shoes.
Right.
I want to experience you today, not myself in you doing me 1,000 years ago. I've already done that.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go. Let's evolve. And so the healing will never end.
Right.
And the universe expansion is never going to slow down. It's constant. It's always going to be in motion. It's always going to be moving forward. It's not dwelling about the past, but the past is what makes us, it's what gives us the strength in the present to align with our future self, who's walking the path in which we are embarking on ideology within our own personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one will be able to experience us and further unlock these gifts of energetic protection so that we can keep moving forward and not neglecting anybody, and using our voice for peace and love and unity, and
Yes.
stop reacting and being the aggressive You know, when the yelling is because that's a toxic masculinity trait. Yelling is our throat chakra is our masculinity, and we abuse it every day. Our eyes are our masculinity, our ears are our masculinity, and we abuse it by letting in content that's not great for us, like listening to the radio or watching TV. They send off a low vibrational frequency that disconnect us. Music is recorded at 808 hertz, which is a high bass. Doesn't really, it's not exactly coercive to our soul's being. So when we can tune out and just tune in, we can tune out the distractions and get more into who and what we are. So a great analogy is like, if you make dinner tonight, do the dishes before you go to bed, so that when you wake up in the morning, you don't have to do the dishes then. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
even that little simple action is tuning into yourself, doing something for yourself, as simple as doing the dishes before you go to bed. Always tune into yourself. Always do stuff for yourself. Clean your house, sweep your house. Everything, you know?
Or as
808 kick makes, yep.
or as simple as if you've always brushed your teeth with your right hand, brush your teeth with your left hand. Change the
I tried that. I tried that. I like brush with my right hand.
Yeah.
The broom.
Yeah. But and for anyone, for me, my through TV and movies and music, the divine opened up so many vibrational information that the divine has been speaking through, you know, that where I used to, well, no, I still enjoy it. I enjoy certain genres and everything, but the divine has been showing me where, you know, writers, directors, or even whatnot, that the divine is having a conversation. And I mean, I've watched Lucy like tremendous amount of times, and every time I watch it, the divine says, okay, watch this. Right.
I watch movies too. When I do, it's because I gotta receive something from it.
Yeah. And the same thing with lyrics, and now more artists are using their music at a different registered hertz to actually my divine being kind of just knows, okay, go here, try this song, or somebody will send me a attachment or a link, and my higher being says, okay, listen to it now. I told them to send it to you, right?
Yes, Melissa lives in the future.
Oh, she lives there. Yeah.
It's December 2nd where she's at, and I think it's beautiful. And it's just and there's people that it's Thursday, so it's just another analogy that the past, present, and future are all happening at once.
And she and I always talk about that. I wake up at like between 1 and 2 in the morning, and we have a conversation. Actually, I wake up at 1 and 2 in the AM, and in her evening, it's like 6 or 7 or 7 or 8, and we're sharing that same day. It's like,
oh, it's beautiful.
It's like awesome. It's really beautiful, you know.
Today
is
the 334th day of the year. Yesterday was the 333rd day of 2023. Fun fact.
Wonderful. But anyway, so your 5 minutes have passed.
Yes.
You need to go.
Thank you,
young man. And the divine has said, request of him, will you come back? Will you share with us more?
Absolutely.
Right. And so I will be doing my new calendar for January, the end of January, and I will send you out. I will keep in touch with you.
Yes.
Because there's
send me a couple of dates. Let's see what works, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah. Yes, Melissa, we are all on our higher timeline. And take what resonates from all that has been said. One size does not fit all, everyone. If this has triggered you in any point, it's not with a hardening of my heart that says that triggered. That just means that you have to go sit at the seat of your soul. You have to go sit with your ego Whatever if you have a name for your ego, or if not, don't worry about that. Teddy's, opened up some nuggets for us all. All right? But if you just call your ego its name, and you have not introduced your ego to your higher being, introduce them. Sit there and find out what triggered you by what we said. It's about who you are and where you're going and what in the recesses of your unconscious that are calling to you. You got triggered by something today. A portion of your shadow you is calling out to you saying, you know what? I want to be seen now. I want to be heard now. Can I come forward? And you just get to sit there and say, yeah, show me you. Show me where I need to be for you to be free.
Don't get triggered.
Pardon?
No, I'm just talking to Jen.
Oh, is that Coach Jinky? Jen Chi? Jen
Chi. Your Chi. Our Chi.
Chi. You're highly triggered. I don't think you're highly triggered. Are you highly triggered?
You're
then,
welcome if you are.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. You're welcome, because that's going to take you on a new path. That's what we're here for. We're here to be on the path. We're here to be in that glory of creation. So you're welcome. What's that movie? You're welcome. Ta-da. Right? But take what resonates, leave what doesn't. We are all here on this journey called Earth School, and we are all here to learn. We don't all know it all at once, but that's why I shared that soul awakening with Sandra, share soul conversation with Sandra. That's why I have all these glorious guests, because we're all on a path of a journey path, opening up and looking on the screen of awareness. What are we going to create? We get to decide who we want to be, when we want to be, where we want to be. We get all these. There's so many modalities, so many infinite possibilities. There are so many now moments, and you get to embark on them all when you're ready to. The divine says, I've opened up communication with you all. You've given me the opportunity to speak to you in all modalities. So stand on the glorious cosmic level of the universe within you, your vortex that keeps hitting up against the divine creation of all that is and all that is not, and be the glorious creator for all that you are and all that you want to be, all that you were, all that you are, all that you want.
Yeah.
Can you come and support?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you.
Send me those dates.
I'll send you the dates. Everybody, be love, peace. Take care. Love you.
Love you too.
Peace.
Peace, baby boy, peace.
Thanks.
Come and see my fort.
Give us one last beautiful look at your face. Oh, he's gone. He was such a gorgeous, gorgeous guy. All right. So everyone, I'm going to leave this with 10845, 10845, 10845. I'm going to close this podcast with love and light, with honoring all of you that have come in. Take these nuggets and create with them how you want to create with them. What resonates for you. Take what resonates for you. Leave what does not in this room. And what you leave in this room, I surrender it to the divine no thing that creates all things, that transmutes it and alchemizes it and makes it gorgeous energy. I'm thankful and grateful for you. Yeshia no toku utaim tashuka a. Te yeshia no toku a. Te yashale kimna. Le kim na usha she uka. Le kim na usha sha uka inda ila. Shorokuna chi chioloku a. Senotai itai unda imta. Me ole ki shishino to ku una te chusole kimde ti ule ki te tinda ashunto ku lai la kimda ashe. One love.